Most people are using AI like a search box. They ask a question, AI gives them an answer, and then they move on. But that's only the beginning. The real time savings start when you stop asking AI to do one thing and start giving it an entire workflow. So I picked 7 boring tasks that people deal with every week and turned them into practical AI workflows you can actually use. No complicated coding, no futuristic robot employees. Just simple ways to take repetitive work off your plate. And there's something important I want to point out before we start. These workflows aren't about replacing everything you do with AI. They're about removing the parts of your work that don't really need your attention. Because saving 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there doesn't sound like much. But when those tasks happen every day, every week, all year, it adds up. Let's start with the place where a lot of people's workday begins. Your inbox. For many people, email isn't really communication anymore. It's a task management system that nobody asked for. You get an email, then another. Then someone replies to the first email. Then someone forwards you something. And somewhere inside a 17-message conversation is a deadline you completely forgot about. AI can help with the boring part. Instead of asking AI, write my email, try giving it a more useful job. For example, review these emails. Identify anything that requires a response, deadline, decision, or follow-up. Put the results into 4 categories: urgent, this week, waiting for someone else, and no action required. Now, you're not asking AI to communicate for you. You're asking it to help you manage the information coming at you. That's an important distinction. And this isn't just theoretical. Current AI email features can summarize conversations, identify priorities, and surface information buried across email threads. Google has been expanding AI inbox capabilities in Gmail, and other AI productivity tools are moving in the same direction. The important rule: don't let AI make important decisions automatically. Let it organize the information. You make the final decision. Here's another one: meetings. If you've ever finished a 1-hour meeting and realized you don't really remember who agreed to do what, this workflow is for you. Instead of manually writing everything down, use an AI meeting assistant or transcription system to create a transcript or summary. Then, take the next step. Ask AI to produce what was decided, what still needs a decision, who is responsible for each action, what deadlines were mentioned. Now you've gone from 60-minute meeting to 1-page action plan. The important part isn't the summary, it's the action list. Because a meeting summary that nobody reads isn't particularly useful. An action list tells you what happens next. And this is becoming a standard direction for AI productivity tools. Google's Gemini can generate meeting recaps in Google Meet, while other meeting assistants are increasingly connecting meeting information with email and follow-up workflows. Again, review the output. AI can misunderstand names, deadlines, or decisions. The goal is to remove the note-taking burden, not to outsource responsibility. Here's one of my favorite practical uses of AI. You have a long document, a report, a proposal, a manual, a research paper, a policy document, or maybe something your boss just sent you with the message, "Please review this." And it's 84 pages. You could spend an hour reading it. Or you can start by giving the document to an AI system that can work with uploaded files. Then ask, give me a 1-page briefing. What are the 5 most important points? What decisions do I need to make? What deadlines or risks should I know about? And what questions should I ask before acting on this? That's a completely different use of AI. You're not asking, summarize this. You're asking, help me understand what matters. Tools such as ChatGPT's Deep Research can also work with uploaded files and connected information sources, while Google is expanding AI's ability to work with documents and files inside Workspace. This is particularly useful when the problem isn't writing. The problem is too much information. Now, let's take that idea one step further. Research. Imagine you're considering a new software product, or researching a competitor, or planning a trip, or comparing several vendors, or trying to understand an unfamiliar industry. The old workflow looks like this. Open Google. Open 15 tabs. Read articles. Copy notes. Open another 15 tabs. Try to remember where a statistic came from. Then spend an hour turning all of that into something coherent. AI can compress much of that process. For example, you can give a research system a specific objective. Compare these 5 options. Focus on price, important features, limitations, customer suitability, and major differences. Use current sources and show me where each important claim came from. This is where tools with research capabilities become especially useful. OpenAI's current deep research workflow is explicitly designed to research complex questions across web sources, files, and connected apps, and produce a documented report with citations. This one is incredibly practical. Imagine you've got information scattered everywhere. Names, phone numbers, dates, orders, customer requests, expenses, notes. Maybe it's sitting in emails. Maybe it's in a document. Maybe it's in a pile of text. Humans are surprisingly bad at manually turning messy information into a clean table. AI is often much better at the first pass. This one is incredibly practical. Imagine you've got information scattered everywhere. Names, phone numbers, dates, orders, customer requests, expenses, notes. Maybe it's sitting in emails. Maybe it's in a document. Maybe it's in a pile of text. Humans are surprisingly bad at manually turning messy information into a clean table. AI is often much better at the first pass. Now we get to the workflow with potentially the biggest payoff: automation. Here's a simple example. Every time a customer fills out a form, you receive the information, you copy it into a spreadsheet, you send an acknowledgement email, you create a task, you notify someone. That's 5 steps, and you might do them dozens of times. Automation lets you connect those steps. The basic idea is, when this happens, do these things. This is where platforms such as Zapier become useful, and AI can add another layer. Instead of simply moving information from one app to another, AI can help classify or interpret the information. For example, a new customer inquiry arrives. AI determines whether it's sales, support, billing, or other. Then the workflow sends it to the appropriate place. That's much more powerful than simply asking AI to write an email. You're building a small system. But start carefully. Automate low-risk, repetitive tasks first. Don't begin with, let AI handle my entire business. Begin with, what is one repetitive task I do every week that follows roughly the same pattern? Automate that. Test it, then improve it.
And this final workflow might be the most overlooked. You already have a huge amount of useful information. It's just sitting there. Old reports, presentations, meeting notes, customer questions, research, emails, transcripts, documents. Instead of starting from zero every time you create something new, use your existing work as raw material. For example, a webinar transcript can become a checklist. A research report can become a presentation. Meeting notes can become a project plan. An old presentation can become a training document. A collection of customer questions can become an FAQ. This is especially powerful because the information is already yours. You're not asking AI to invent something from scratch. You're asking it to repurpose work you've already done. Recent examples of AI productivity workflows increasingly focus on this kind of document-based work, using existing files as context rather than starting with a blank chatbot window. And that's an important shift in how I think about AI. The most valuable AI tool might not be the one that generates the most impressive answer. It might be the one that understands the information you already have.
So let's step back. We started with 7 boring tasks: email, meetings, documents, research, data, automation, existing work. And there's a pattern connecting all of them.
That's the real opportunity. Not, look what AI can generate, but look at how much unnecessary work we can remove. And there's an important warning here. AI productivity can actually make work feel more complicated if you simply add another AI tool to every part of your day. Recent analysis has highlighted exactly this problem. AI can make individual tasks faster, while still leaving people stuck managing multiple tools and fragmented workflows. So don't try to automate everything. Start with one annoying task, one thing you repeat every week, something boring, something predictable, something where a mistake isn't catastrophic. Then build from there. Because you don't need 25 AI tools. You don't even need 7 workflows. You need one workflow that genuinely makes your life easier. And once you find that, you'll probably start seeing the next one. If you want practical AI explained without the hype, subscribe to the AI Operator. And if you want me to break down these workflows step by step, including the exact prompts and setup, tell me which workflow you'd want to build first.